Hey, it's Soul with, I guess this is mostly a ranty video. I'm just gonna sit here and talk and let you watch some footage of me soaring on screen while I do it. So if you don't mind, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and yeah, let's talk about Soar, the Dracthyr racial ability. Because since the alpha launched, like a ton of folks have been showing it off. Like I've been showing it off on Twitter, and somehow I went viral with like thousands of people watching me fly the length of, it was the Serpent Spine in Pandaria. I was comparing the speeds of soaring to regular mounts. That part was especially fun. Soaring and dragon riding, though, it hasn't been without its issues or its detractors, and we should be listening to those folks who are speaking out about the things they don't like about it. But at the moment, at least here in this video, you're listening to me. So the other day, the WoW team made a kind of bizarre announcement, one that I frankly should have reacted to a lot sooner. So in their statement, they said that they would be nerfing the speed of soaring by about 30%. And I want to make it clear that this nerf is happening to, the Soar, the racial for the Dracthyr, and not to the actual dragon riding, which all players are going to be traveling with come Dragonflight. What made their statement really weird was with their reasoning, or I don't even know why they gave themselves just justification, but they did it. Like they say, quote, "The result is that Dracthyr have a drastic efficiency advantage over characters of other races when doing non-Dragon Isles content, whether that's chromie time quests, clearing old raids for transmog, pet battling, and etc." So there's a lot to unpack here, and pretty much all of it stinks. So they're saying there's a problem with Soar giving the Dracthyr an efficiency advantage. Okay, so now keep in mind, this is an ability with a 5-minute cooldown that cannot be used in combat, and it starts its cooldown when the character lands, and it has very limited capability to, actually regain altitude. It's nothing, that part is nothing like dragon riding. I mean, cool, I can fly from the top of the sword in Silithus all the way to Orgrimmar in just a few short minutes, compared to a 310 speed flying mount, but is that really a problem? Like, does that get me so much closer to Keystone Master than the non-Dracthyr player? Really, what the heck kind of advantage does Soar give to a person? I mean, I'll tell you what, the advantage is that it feels freaking dope compared to old flying. I mean, I'm zipping around going, wee, I'm looking for sick jumps and places to die from, whereas with, regular swimming in the air kind of flying, you get on the mount, you point in a direction and AFK, and then you tab over the Reddit or whatever, and maybe you'll remember to come back, or else you fly out the world. So I'm still unpacking this first statement, by the way. Like, and what are they talking about with chromie time? Dracthyr evokers are a hero class. They come out of the starting experience. I mean, okay, they literally start leveling at 58, and then they come out of the starting experience at 60. So there ain't no chromie time happening unless they sync down with someone who is in chromie time, and even then, like, what would soaring do for them? Maybe they're thinking really far ahead when Dracthyr will eventually start at like level 10 or so, but that's a real far ways off, and still no advantage that I can really think of. Clearing old raids for transmog, I'm like, I sat down for a while trying to figure out what that means, and nothing. I drew a blank. And this is coming from me, played WoW since beta, I'm a super fan. I don't really care if you call me a shill. I don't get what that is supposed to mean. Soaring doesn't make me or anyone a better or more efficient pet battler. I mean, you know what does? Or at least what does at a bigger scale? Mages. Mage teleports by comparison are totally broken compared to soaring ill. And Dracthyr can't be mages, so sucks to be them, right? I mean, soaring is awesome, but my engineering paladin can jump through space and time, and then hearth back to their garrison, and then Dalaran hearth back to their level 3 sanctum, and then take a hop back to Oribos, an indoor area where, by the way, Dracthyr can't soar. I mean, heck, Dracthyr can't soar anywhere where they can't fly, so there's no awesome courses to flying in the Maw, or Korthia, or the Thunder Isle, or Antorus, and going back to Chromie time, if you don't have the flying training, then you can't soar. And if you do have the flying training, then you're going to mostly fly, and you're barely going to soar. And even if you could, and you get that every 5-minute perk or so compared to your buddies who are just kind of plodding along on their ghetto mount, is that really that bad? They're saying that Soar was never intended to be a massive efficiency or performance improvement over other races. But that's the thing, like, they're succeeding at this now because of all these limitations. I mean, so really, like what improvement, what advantage? It's honestly really hard to believe that people are mad or would get mad and are speaking out over Dracthyr because the soaring is too fast. And I've been listening to people bring up their problems with dragon riding. They come up with, well, what sounds like reasonable things, and none of them, like I said, none of them have said anything remotely close to how soaring gives an advantage over non-Dracthyr and makes them feel bad. I very rarely put on my tinfoil hat and go wild with theories behind Blizzard decisions, but this statement is just so off-key and flawed and easy to, go back and talk smack about that I'm almost thinking to myself that, maybe they put this out the way it is on purpose just to see how bad the reactions and backlash would be. Then they can just have one more talking point later on when they do finally add dragon riding to the whole game. Like, oh, hey, you guys were really passionate even early on. Remember when we were going to nerf something like Soar? Funny story, right? This whole statement from Blizzard it's ridiculous. It's borderline satire, but to be kind of fair, Soar is the blowback, kind of. Even my rantiness here is pretty, overblown, okay? Some folks are equating these changes to how Torghast was so well received during the Shadowlands Alpha before things, changed, and this is not the same thing. So here's some truth. Here's some cold, unfeeling, boring truth. If soaring originally, if it came out with this speed of 640 as opposed to 900 whatever, and the early playtesters and these folks in the first few weeks of the alpha and I tried it at that speed, you know what? We would have more than likely have been 100% fine with it. We wouldn't have noticed. No one would have batted an eye. I'd almost put money on it. I would still have made cool flying videos on Twitter with comparisons. People would be running their downhill courses, zipping around like crazy people, and our reactions would, for the most part, be the same. The only addition, though, would be our reactions when we get onto our dragon riding mounts. We'd compare and we'd be like, oh man, dude, okay, dragon riding is super cool and super fast, and, Dracthyr, they're cool too. They get a nerf version of it on a 5-minute cooldown, but, hey, they're dragons, right? They gotta get their airtime too. And that would have been it, I think. There would have been considerably less drama. But it's too late for that, I think. There's no stopping this train. I guess there's just hope in the part of the WoW team that people forget. It's going to be harder for people to forget direct comparison videos of just how fast soaring is. And it's not going to surprise you that if this change goes through, you're going to see me posting comparison videos again. And it's likely I won't be the only one doing it. For now, though, that's where we're at, and maybe by the time you watch this, the WoW team will have changed their minds, and you can point it out in the comments, feel free. But I still want to hear your thoughts on this too. Is this just an alpha change that the public didn't even have to know about? Are there good reasons behind this change, actually? And that's going to be it for me. I'll see you in the next video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.